प्रविश्य मम वाचमिमां प्रसुप्तां सञ्जीवयत्यखिलशक्तिधरस्वधाम्ना अन्यांश्च हस्तचरणश्रवणत्वगादीन् प्राणान्नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यं प्राणान्नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यम्.
So Rajoguna, the basis of Rajoguna is I like this, I like that, this is mine, this is not mine. So always seeing the world in a fragmented manner, in a desireful manner, with the bhogecha, that was the Rajoguna bondage coming in. Now, when it is relieved of that desired fragmented vision and corresponding generation of the ego and desire, that is desire, sanga and kama, then what happens to the Rajoguna? It gets liberated into the universal energy. That energy is pure energy. The whole universe is having Rajoguna. Without that, there cannot be an existence. In the nature, there is no Rajoguna bondage, ego, nothing is there. The whole nature is full of energy. That is the divine energy. So if we remove from our activities the ego and the phalakamana, the sanga and phalakamana, then we simply land into the divine world of energy, the divine energy. We don't get, it never pollutes us, we become free with that energy. We work with that energy. So actually Bhagavad Gita, the first step of revolutionary presentation of Bhagavad Gita is activities are not a bondage at all. Our activities are binding us because of our delusion and misunderstanding of the world. Rather, the activities are not a hindrance also to our sadhana of final attaining the truth. The activities have to be converted into instruments for liberation. That means activities will help us to get liberated and attain Brahman. How? By changing our attitude. What is the change of attitude needed? We are now engaged in desire-motivated activity with an ego-motivated activity. This desire and ego have to be removed. By how? How will you remove? Understanding the truth. That where lies the ego? It is absolutely delusion. Where lies the phalakamana? We are actually the fulfillment which is naturally there, joy which is naturally there. We are hindering that joy by producing a desire for something. Joy is not produced from the world. Joy is produced within. It is a natural property of the soul. I have given so many examples. In meditation, when you forget the world, you get flooded with joy. In sleep, the deep sleep, when you forget the world, then is the most joyous situation. These are also enough proof for that the joy is not outside, it is within. And the desire fulfillment also, because the desire is eliminated at that point, you become joyous by fulfillment of the desire. So better you eliminate the desire right from the beginning and do everything from joy, not for having joy at the end of the work. Generally we are doing, by getting the result I will become joyous, for joy. We have to work from joy because we are already joyous. Whatever to be done, we will do joyfully. Now this is the Bhagavad Gita which started. From there it is taking us in the 18th chapter to a life divine, so to say. That means in a divine activity, in the field of divine activity, where even all the four categories, suppose a Brahmana, when he is free of the ego and the bhogecha, ego and the corresponding knowledge also is sukha and jnana bhoga. If he is freed of that, then what he does, he is only in pure knowledge of the truth. And what he does also, he spreads that knowledge of the truth. That is his purpose, to speak about the knowledge, write about the knowledge, give it, share it with others, everything. He goes on sharing. What does a Kshatriya do? In the Kshatriya's case, when he is free of the ego and the bhogecha, Arjuna was saying initially that I am fighting the war Rajya Sukha Lobhena. for enjoying the kingdom. If that is taken away, ego is taken away, then what is the Kshatriya doing? He is protecting the society on the path of auspiciousness. He is punishing the bad. He is encouraging and rewarding the good. He sees that the society is protected from all kinds of evil effects. And he does it as part of, as the Lord is looking after the world, he is also looking after his small kingdom or big kingdom or whatever it is, as a representative of the God. That is how the concept of representative has come. So, his work now is no more binding him. He is doing the divine work. And with the, what is the energy? Rajoguna energy is predominant there. This is called the purified sattva, purified raja. That Rajoguna is now not creating any bondage. It is purified Rajoguna, where he has got liberated in the universe of energy, where he will be acting as a representative of the Lord. Whatever to be done, he will do, not out of ego or bhogetsa. A Vaishya who is given to trade, business, etc., his fundamental, the pure part of it is the Vaishya karma is love and sharing. So, when he is out of the profiteering motive and desire motivated activity, then he is doing for sharing everything. The whole universe is running on mutuality. Suppose even in the crystal, unless there is a mutual bondage between the centers, the crystal will collapse. If the planets and the stars, they are not under mutual force, etc. Everywhere there is a mutuality. Thinking of others, feeling of others. Without this mutuality, nothing can exist in this world. So the Vaishya is playing a great role in the society of creating this mutual bondage, that sharing materials, sharing various things here and there. Without that, the society cannot survive. So when the personal gain motive is, personal desire, personal ego is taken out, then he simply does this sharing activity out of love. So he lands into divine love. The first one is divine knowledge, second one is divine energy, the third one is divine love. And the fourth one is divine service. That he no longer thinks that I am low and I don't know anything, I don't have enough of intelligence, I cannot do anything. No. You can do it as a service to the Lord, not to service to your master or anything. You are doing it as a service to the Lord. The whole vision changes there. So, actually the tamoguna also, the purified of tamoguna is stability. How the whole universe is stable in its, with all its movement. The movement is because of the rajoguna. And the stability, the overall stability is because of the inertia. That is the tamoguna. These are there as experiential also. In those who practice meditation, you will find in the books also it is written, must be, that they can experience the Shuddha Sattva Guna, where he becomes just like knowledge. Nothing is the consciousness. It becomes an experience. He can become, in meditation, he can have the experience of infinite energy. That is, the inertia of the body is not there, the rigidity of the body is not there, as if he has become fire of energy. He can experience the tamoguna as a great stability like the mountain, a very calm stability that when that takes over, he will not be immediately get over and work also. It's very fulfilling, stable feeling will be there. These are all the purified form of tamoguna, rajoguna, sattvaguna. There is nothing wrong in them. The wrong comes because of our ego and that sangha and phalakamana. Ego and bhogetsa, our doership and enjoyship. If that is eliminated, then everything takes its pure form. And we get liberated. The whole life, the work becomes divine. Whatever we are doing. As we say that all these qualities also, they get mixed with each other. As we said that the knower's work, what is he doing? He is spreading the knowledge. So it is the Brahmana work, according to the Varnas. He is doing it is not only knowledge, he is handling the tremendous power. This knowledge comes with the power, energy. So he is always diverting the energy or utilizing the energy for the benefit of the world. So in that, doing it, he is Kshatriya. When he has to take some role in the society, he will take a very energetic role there. Tremendous energetic role, but all for the protection of the society. He is actually, what is he doing? Sharing his knowledge with everybody. Is it not a Vaishya work? The trader is sharing whatever he has with the people. Here he is sharing the knowledge. So that is a Vaishya Vritti. And actually he is doing seva for everybody. He is serving people by the knowledge. So he is at once all the four varnas. So there is a mixture of the varna in the higher level. Who will be what and how will he be? That it depends on the complete divinity. Suppose one person who was working as mainly tamasika work or manual work or so, but if he starts practicing this dissolution of the ego and the bhogecha, automatically his mind will change, his buddhi will change, he will get the touch of the truth also. The truth, it will come and he will become a Brahmana in the usual sense. He will have the knowledge. May not be Brahmana, but the Brahmana effect will be there. He will also, with his guna, it will get transformed into, it will add more and more of sattva guna and all because of his archana, that is whatever he is doing for the truth only. By his surrender, he will attain the Brahmana gunas or the knowledge-oriented sattva guna also. A person who is tremendously active, say Kshatriya, like Arjuna, by fighting the war without any enmity and without any lobha or greed for kingdom, what Krishna was trying to make him? It is really the knowledge that he is fighting the war where he has to kill his own people and all without any problem. So he has to transcend the personal level, personal gain, personal loss, everything. So by that he becomes a knower. He becomes a Brahmana also. That is Brahmana qualities. So everything gets transformed into the ultimate. Finally he becomes the soul where there is no guna, nothing. So it's a beautiful way of transforming the whole society by a touch of spiritual knowledge. What is the knowledge? That actually the whole universe is functioning with the three gunas. It's nature's job. And you are only a witness to that. Where is the ego coming? Where is the phalakamana coming? Understanding that the both are absolutely useless hindrance. Automatically they will go. Desire, one does not have to reject or renounce. Desires become redundant, meaningless. Why should you unnecessarily become unhappy by cultivating desire? When we understand that the desires are making me unhappy, do you want unhappiness? By quoting desire, we are making us unhappy. Once we understand this fallacy, will we not automatically, the desires will become redundant? People think that, oh, all desires, how will it go? How will it go? Just by understanding it should go. When you understand that it is absolutely foolish to have desire, will you desire anymore? You will do whatever comes, you will do. You can say, in a way, I don't know, I have tried to write it, the law of action determined by Swabhava. This Swabhava is giving us a principle, a law of action. The law of action determined by Swabhava is the principle of self-unfoldment and blossoming into divine action. That is, when we do action according to our Swabhava, eliminating both desire and ego, then actually we are landing into divine action. The life gets divinized by that. Now he is further elaborating on this. Shreyan swadharmo vigunaha
Shreyan swadharmo vigunaha
paradharmat swanushthitat
परधर्मात् स्वनुष्ठितात्
स्वभावनियतं कर्म
स्वभावनियतं कर्म
कुर्वन्नाप्नोति किल्बिषम्
कुर्वन्नाप्नोति किल्बिषम्.
स्वभावनियतं कर्म, that means the karma which is guided by the swabhava. Swabhavaniyatam karma kurvan na apnoti kilvisham. That will never bring any sin or any impurity by doing the swabhavaniyatam karma. Why? Because Arjuna, see the context also, Arjuna was having the fear of sin. Ahovata mahat papam kattum vyavasita vayam. That by fighting for Rajya Sukha Lobha, we are committing one of the greatest sins. That was his concept. Now, Arjuna was a Kshatriya and his Swabhavaniyatam karma was war. Part of the karma was war, to protect the country, and in this case particularly, he was fighting to establish the righteous rule on earth, on our country. So, Shreyan Swadharmo Vigunaha. Although it is a Vigunaha, it is a negative quality of the karma, say killing people, not only killing his own beloved grandfather, own respected teacher from whom he has learned the archery. Is it not really very bad? That is the Vigunaha. It is not a good thing. For the military, they are always have to kill. Is it not? It is not something good anybody will relish. For the police, we say they are always doubting people. It is not good. If you police is such, particularly those who are in the detective section, they have to doubt everybody. That is not good. So these are the Vigunaha, these are the negative qualities of a karma. But he says that if you do it without any selfish gain motive, desire motive or ego, then they will not touch you at all. They will be just like Guna Guneshu Vartanta. You are doing, as a person, whatever duty has to be done, you are doing. Killing also is like that. Do you get it? So, he says, Shreyan Swadharmo Vigunaha. If Arjuna had taken to Bhikshavritti and Sannyasa as he proposed, then going to the forest, he would not have been able to focus his mind on Kevala Jnana Nishtha or on the spiritual goal. So he would have lost both. He would not have done his duty and he would not have been successful in pursuing a goal which is not his Swabhava. Because his Swabhava was 13 years he has meditated on the war, he has contemplated on the war, thinking of Duryodhana, how to punish him. So for him it is the Swakarma you do, but do it in the transformed manner. That is, don't think that it is for winning the kingdom or getting the sukha out of kingship. You are fighting the war because the righteous rule has to be established. In the process you may die also, you may survive also. If you survive, you may rule. Otherwise you may get defeated also. But whatever you have done, whatever you could do, you are doing it. Not with the result that I will win and then I will have sukha and then I will become happy. I will have the comfort of the kingship and then I will become happy. Nothing like that. You are working. It is Swabhavaniyatam karma. Your karma is to take the kingdom, to take the society to the righteous rule and to the auspicious goal, and for that you are fighting. So don't change your Swadharma just because your Swadharma has got some negative points in it, that you have to kill or you have to do this or do that. Sahajam karma kaunteya
Sahajam karma kaunteya
Sadoshamapi natyajet
Sadoshamapi natyajet
Sarvarambhahi doshena
Sarvarambhahi doshena
Dhumena
Dhumena
Sahajam karma kaunteya
Sahajam karma kaunteya
Sadoshamapi natyajet
Sadoshamapi natyajet
Sarvarambhahi doshena
Sarvarambhahi doshena
Dhumena
धूमेनाग्निरिवावृताः
Sahajam means which is natural to you, which is born with you. Ja means born with you, that is which is natural to you. Sahajam karma, O Kaunteya, Sahajam karma sadoshamapi na tyajet. The same thing he is saying, that if it has some dosha, it has some defect in it, it should not be left. Because war is full of defect. And they have to sometimes take to some improper, so-called improper means also. To fight adharmic enemy, you have to take to adharma. So, if you are too proud about your dharma, like Yudhishthira, you will not be able to win the war. You have to take to adharma sometimes there. So, all these are defects of the sahaja karma for them. Sarvarambhai doshena dhumena agni rivavritaha. As in fire, with fire always there will be some smoke. So whatever work you do, you will find that there are some defects. Don't be carried away by the gross defect you are seeing. Whatever you do, there will be some defects here and there. Asakta buddhi sarvatra
असक्त बुद्धिः सर्वत्र
जितात्मा विगतस्पृहः
जितात्मा विगतस्पृहः
नैष्कर्म्य सिद्धिं परमां
नैष्कर्म्य सिद्धिं परमां
संन्यासेनाधिगच्छति.
संन्यासेनाधिगच्छति.
See, Naishkarmya Siddhi is a great statement. It's a great concept. He has brought in here. He says, Asakta buddhi sarvatra. That if you are not clinging to anything, clinging to what you like and hating or intolerant about what you dislike, if it is like that, you are doing only svabhava niyatam karma, not getting deviated from that. Jitatma vigata sprihaha. Jitatma means you have won over the slavery to the lower tendencies, that is your indriyas for the sense indulgence or the mind for looking for blaming, pride, ego, etc. All those lower tendencies you have won over. And vigata sprihaha, that means you have no desire anything. You have understood that there is nothing to desire from the world. It is not going to make you happy. He attains Naishkarma Siddhim, Paramam Sannyasena Adhigacchati. Here two concepts are taken together. One is Sannyasa, another is Naishkarmya. In earlier, he has already mentioned that Sannyasa, Naishkarmya, all are inner attainment. That is, Naishkarmya can be thought about as not doing anything outside. But Bhagavad Gita tells us that it is impossible to renounce all the work. Work something for living, you have to do the work, at least even the mind is moving or the breath is going. That Naishkarmya is, outside Naishkarmya is not a practicable concept. So the Naishkarmya, real Naishkarmya is getting freed of the doership and enjoyership. That is, I am doing that doership, that I, actually it is the ego. I am doing, to get rid of, when you understand that you are not doing anything, it is the guna guneshu vattanta, the gunas are playing, I am only the witness, I am seeing it. Then that Naishkarmya is attained. That you can do 10 times or 100 times the work the others are doing, but you don't feel that you have done anything. Karyam karomi nacha kinchidaham karomi. Karyam karomi nacha kinchidaham karomi. And what is the sannyasa? Sannyasa is samyak nyasa. If you go on rejecting one after another thing, that will not be the sannyasa. Sannyasa is again the complete dissolution of the ego. That is the sannyasa. That is the internal sannyasa. When will the ego be completely dissolved? When you understand that you are not doing anything, the ego also will be dissolved. Ego is about what? I have done something, I have to do something, I have done something great, I have done something sinful, or I have to do this, do that, etc. When you understand that the gunas are playing, you go on doing whatever to be done, remaining as a witness. So this is it. This Naishkarma Siddhim here and Sannyasa here, they need quite a lot of discussion. There are opinion difference amongst the interpreters also. But generally we follow the simple interpretation of as Bhagavad Gita is, that it is everything is internal. Even the sadhana is internal. So we say that the most of the seekers who say that I don't find time, Swamiji, I am so busy in the family and so busy in the office, they have no excuse before Bhagavad Gita, because Bhagavad Gita has not asked you to do anything with special time. Saying whatever you do, be it eating, cooking, going to the office, playing, everything has to be converted into a sadhana. How? How? But not doing desire motivated karma and taking away the ego, by removing the ego and bhogetsa. So you don't need any special time. So the sannyasa is actually the internal sannyasa, where you finally realize that I have nothing to do, I am not doing anything at all. The whole universe is running, it's a play of the guna. My body-mind personality is a product of the nature. It is also doing its job. I, the Atma, never gets touched by anything. It remains unaffected, untouched. So that is the inner sannyasa. In Yoga Vasishta Shikidvaja, when he finally tried to commit suicide, I told the other day, that if this body is the cause of my bondage, I am going to sacrifice the body also. He was ready to jump in the fire. Then Chudala caught hold of him. What are you going to sacrifice by this? You are suffering from the ego. The ego has to be put in the fire, not the body. In Vishnu Sahasranam also you have seen that we offer everything, the whole program is offering, jajna. Then at the end we do the Purna Ahuti. At the end we collect all the material. Everything we are making a ritual, but actually Purna Ahuti means the Ahuti of the ego. That is offering the ego. At the end of the jajna of making all the offerings, finally we have to offer our doership and enjoyship. That is the idea. Any question?
Same verse is active in the third chapter.
Yes. That is Bhayavaha. It's little different. 3.35. See that? Shreyan swadharmo vigunaha paradharmat swanushthitat swadharme nidhanam shreyaha paradharmo bhayavaha. Only bhayavaha is changed. It is the same thing. That even if you die in swadharma, for a warrior it is very true. For a military people also it is very true. For a police also it is true. That in pursuing your own dharma, even if you die, taking to another dharma is bhayavaha. Why? Because you will be completely deviated from your path. He is repeatedly saying that the whatever defect is there in the karma, be it killing people or getting killed or whatever, spying or stealth or anything, if you can do it without sangha and without bhogecha, then you get promoted in spirituality. Why? Because your mind is expanding, it is getting detached, it is getting relieved from all the kalmasha. So if you leave your swadharma just because of attraction for something, then you are losing the opportunity of utilizing your swakarma for making the mind free of all the affectedness. The whole Bhagavad Gita is trying to make our activities, utilize them to get to a higher level of purity where you are remaining unaffected by whatever is being done.